People of the internet, Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer are reaching the end of their rope. And today we will learn out what's going on in their latest chapter. In the video by podcast cringe, Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer are more desperate than ever. So like and subscribe if that's what you do. Grab your coffee, grab your joint, snuggle up, because here we go.
That's what I'm saying. Like some have boyfriends where they're like, yeah, I love it.
I know that, but what I'm saying
You're talking about us?
No.
Yo, one, why are they hooked up to IVs? And two, guys, I was on the fence a little bit. I officially can't. That noise he makes, it makes you want to just like go meet the heavens or whatever's out there. You know what I mean? It's a rough one. It is. Oh Lord. And are they playing this "We're so rich we get IVs to get over hangovers" shit? I'm telling you, when you play the rich guy, evil rich guy, bad things happen.
I'm saying this. I don't know how to talk about this.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, Tom and Bert have managed to dig deep and redefine rock bottom. And I'm not talking about the gay club they did their last Porosos promo out of, with Bert kitted out in his bloated bottom outfit. I'm talking about two
Did they just call Bert a bottom?
of the biggest comedy podcasters in the world, hooking themselves up to a vitamin IV on their podcast and proceeding to brag about their Rolex watch collections and how cool it is to own expensive cars. Some of you are probably rolling your eyes already right now as you realize that this was all one big gag. Because if you recall a couple of years ago, this is precisely what triggered Tom Segura's downfall. This is why the pause hit back and hurt Tom's feelings so badly that he almost went full Brendan Schaub rage cry on the show.
Oh, can I just say
Hey,
this
Carl,
real
you
quick?
yeah.
Every time we talk about like a watch or a car, I'll get a bunch of messages from losers that try to tell me that I'm making them feel bad about their situation. You're in control of your own situation and your own feelings. So don't put it on me that you feel bad that I have something that, but I'm struggling with rent this month.
Look, men that act like that don't satisfy their wives. And they can't. Their wife will never be satisfied by them because they're little Cuckosaurus Rexes. They're weak men. They're not the alphas. They're weak men. Men that place all their value on their things and money and their stuff. They're losers. Absolute losers. Just my opinion. If you have to wrap your identity around money, we can make a few assumptions about you, brother.
Figure it the f out, okay? Like, don't make my life be a problem for your life. Here's the thing: if you're still mad about this, just know that it's your mindset and you're thinking like a loser. But you don't have to.
You don't.
You can change the way you think, but you have to accept the way you're thinking right now is not going to get you anywhere. You're being bitter, you're being petty, you're insecure, you're not confident, and you can change that, but you have to be proactive.
What's your wife say about you, Tom? What does your wife say about you? That's the real you. What your wife says about you, Tom, that's who you really are. Fucking Jesus.
And so Tom would regret saying those words soon enough after he cemented his reputation as a rich arsehole who was completely out of touch with his fans and the comedy audience more broadly. As a former Tom Segura comedy fan myself, nothing has been more tragic than seeing him go from funny fat dude to old hack comedian in the space of just a few years. And it was all thanks to the hardwood flooring in that gym. But that's another story. And so now that Two Bears One Cave has seen a significant drop in viewership over the last couple of years since their fans came to realize their true character, they...
Do you see? Y'all still try to argue with me about views, but these guys, along with Rogan, along with the others, they're not getting the views they used to. And you go, well, they're still high. But yeah, now they're competing with everybody else when these guys used to have a way bigger fan base. They turned everybody away because they just started acting rich. You know? That's how it is. That's how it is. People don't like it when you flaunt money in their face.
They've been trying to claw their way back desperately.
Or when you act better than them. That's what it really is.
By leaning into all of their controversies. We've seen Bert's endless therapy sessions admitting that he's a narcissist, a bad father, and a problem drinker, but since Tom got into bed with Netflix, he's actually quietened down a lot. I've said this many times, but Tom has become so fucking boring after his publicist told him that he needed to cool things down after the infamous airport meltdown, which resulted in him deleting a whole month of embarrassing tweets. But now that their numbers are falling...
Hey, look, like, every person's always going to have some, like, drama, right? Tom just needs some drama. He needs to get relevant, but he can't. Look, you don't do drama like that. You got to be smart. You got to create your drama. You got to give them things that they will use against you, knowing that's what's going to happen the whole time. You know, you got to think about this. You got to orchestrate your success, Tom. It's your mindset. You know why everyone thinks you're boring? It's your mindset. But you don't have to be this way, Tom. You can change your mindset, Tom. You can be relevant again.
Fast, they've run out of content ideas and have no interesting guests to bring on. They've resorted to cheap gags to stir up their fan base.
Hey guys, brand new episode of Two Bears, One Cave. It's me and Tommy and our health regiment. We believe wholeheartedly in IVs. Giving us our IV today is Coco. Coco
Look at Tom's crazy eyes.
is about to stick Tom. If you have a fear of needles, turn your head. So we're getting 200 milligrams. And by the way, we're
I don't know about that sling bait there.
not doctors. We're just reciting what Coco said. 200 milligrams is probably pretty typical. You can do an NAD drip where
I do 500 when I get the drip.
Joe gets 500 when he does the drip, and Joe does the drip with a push. So he gets a bag pushing it so it goes faster.
That's insane to me.
And this guy's giving me my NAD. He does not know that I know Joe. And he goes, you know, there's this guy that gets the drip, and he does it fast. He said he can do it in like 10 minutes.
It's insane.
I said, who? He goes, his name's Joe Rogan. And he goes, big intravenous drug user. I said, who? He said, Joe Rogan. I said, what makes you say that? And he goes, well, that's who likes the drip fast. Am I right, Coco? Intravenous drug users.
How? Because it's like it crushes you. But there is that.
Well. There could be a lot of theories about that one. We know that's not the only hole he likes wide open.
That feeling when you get it where like it actually can like you feel pain, right? Like
You feel like you're having a fucking heart attack.
So why would an intravenous drug user enjoy that?
Here, Coco, come here, stand next to me.
Well, I don't know. I guess it depends kind of like what their high is that they're chasing and what sensation they're wanting to feel.
Well,
Damn,
when you take
nothing
NAD,
about that feels pleasurable though.
No.
You know, when you take NAD, you feel like you're having a heart attack. You're
Yeah,
like, it's like this.
Clearly, they know how douchey and out of touch we think they are for the whole vitamin IV thing. That's why they did this. It'll make more sense as we go along and get into their expensive watches and cars. But nothing beats Bert's disgusting display of gluttony recently when he stuffed his face with a burger, all while hooked up to a vitamin IV at a Porosos party. Because there's nothing funnier than two middle-aged multimillionaires hanging out with guests who are paid to stand there and laugh at their jokes for the cameras. And did you notice how Bert has to stir up shit about Rogan? In every episode, he finds a way to shit on one of his friends by blurting out some personal secret. Now the whole world knows that Joe Rogan's a junkie. Fucking Bert can't keep his mouth shut. It didn't stop there though, because once Bert was done with the IV, he got the nurse to jab him in the ass with an energy shot, you know, just to get him through.
Oh, bro, do you see that? This is so horrible. This is going to ruin your whole fucking video experience right here. And nobody's ever going to be watching this video again. Do you guys see the little fold in his pubic hairs? Look at that. He's got a little fold. Look at her. Look at her eyes. She's like... She's looking at it. She's like, how do I attack this? Dude, look at his little fold. Anyways, carry on, guys.
Through the day. I never thought I'd see the day when comedians became douchier than finance bros. But the saddest part is that Bert thinks he's the healthiest he's ever been. Despite taking meds for diabetes, high blood pressure, and cholesterol, oh, and don't forget the TRT, Bert will do anything to avoid living a healthier lifestyle.
This is where I'm going to sound out of touch to our fans. I don't know what an IV costs, and I get them every week. I get one a week, and I'll tell you, anyone listening, my blood work came back like 2 months ago.
Yeah,
and still partying, still on vodka. Best numbers I had ever had, and I was like, it's fucking IVs. Do you know who put me onto this? Chappelle. What's the cheapest you can get an IV for?
Depends what's in it,
Yeah,
right?
It really depends. Like the most basic drip is probably around $200, but it also depends where you are. Bigger cities, they might mark it up a little more than little towns.
Do you know Tech Nine? Tech Nine owns an IV company. I want to start an IV company just so I can get a deal on IVs. I get IVs every other.
I think there's probably a different way to get deals.
We do fractional franchising.
There you go.
For $25,000. I've already looked into a fractional franchise. All I need is a brick and mortar, and I'm thinking about buying a building to start an IV company just so I can get fucking IVs cheap.
If Brendan Schaub isn't careful, Bert's going to steal his spot as the internet's biggest business shark. And there is no way he's only doing one IV per week. He's previously said that he does them twice a week, and just there, he was about to blurt out that he gets them every other day. The guy's going to end up on life support and still brag that his bloods are perfect. But like I said at the beginning, Tom and Bert are just trying to trigger their fans, and they're trolling us because they've run out of shit to say on camera and can't book decent guests anymore since their numbers have tanked. Even Andrew Schultz went on the YMH podcast instead of Two Bears to promote his latest comedy grift, even though he went on like 20 other podcasts. It didn't stop there though, and this is the really cringy part. If we needed any more evidence that these guys are both terrible actors, then we've got it right here.
So speaking of being out of touch and not knowing the prices of things, you see this new line of Rolexes that came out?
Dude, they look great. They look great. Let's spend the whole time talking about Rolexes.
You know that like people are in that world. They're like people are scared of Rolex. Rolex is terrifying as a brand and a company because they're like the Vatican. They're so powerful. The way that they allow you to be, let's say, an authorized dealer, dude. They send in people that you don't know are there. They check everything from the cloth on the table that you display on, the way that
this is boring. What is Tom thinking? This is why are we all just gonna argue with each other to the end of humanity? We just like drama. Tom's bored. Tom's been put in this little cage. His publicist said no. But Tom, do you think, okay, I'm gonna put this theory out here. And it's all alleged. It's just a theory. Do you think Tom was crashing out pretty hard last year? Tom was having some problems. Wasn't going good for Tom. Do you think the publicist said, hey, Tom, if you don't say stupid shit on TV, we will let you go, people. We'll help you. Do you think Tom settled for that? I think so, because look how Tom's being a real good boy. And there's only one thing Tom would be a good boy for. And no, it's not his wife. It's his desire to. Okay. So, allegedly. Look at he looks like he's just having to do his job, but he's content. And I think the only thing that would make Tom content is his desire to people. Let me know what you think.
The logo is displayed on the wall, and they give you critiques that you don't know about. At the end of the year, they come in, and they go, you didn't do this shit right.
The guy who started Rolex set everything up in a trust. So Rolex has more money than God.
Yeah.
So when the market dips and everyone else scrambles to try to figure out fucking what to do, he's like, yeah, the Rolex is like, we'll be good for the next 100 years.
Yeah.
What's also cool, and there's the last thing I'm gonna say about watches, and I just need
Please continue.
Don't need a watch. mean, it's almost like stupid to have you have to be a fucking idiot to have a watch on. Only a fucking moron would spend $80,000 on a watch.
Yeah.
A fucking idiot.
Right, just to tell the time?
But that's what makes it sexy.
Yeah.
Handmade, handcrafted. If you open mine up on the back, you can see the inner workings of this watch.
See, the thing that Tom never quite understood about the backlash he got for being an out-of-touch millionaire is that nobody gives a fuck about watches. We're not sad or offended because he's rich. We're just bored of listening to them talking about all the shit they have all the time. Like, what is this, Harvard Business School? What are we doing, a case study on Rolex's business model and how robust it is? That's what it means to be out of touch. They simply don't get it. We're not offended, we're fucking bored. And I have no issue with Tom going on all these luxury watch YouTube channels where they critique his watch collection, or when he did a video about his custom GT3 with the guy from Smoking Tires, who, incidentally, was the guy who got Rogan into watches. I actually think that's kind of cool. Of course, multimillionaires are going to have hobbies outside of work, and they're going to look for ways to enjoy their money. I'd do the same thing if I'm being honest. Where they went wrong was thinking that their comedy fans want to hear about it 3 times a week.
And I'll tell you right now, I'm not a watch guy. I'm gonna.
Yeah, I think this is a good point, and I think we talk around it a lot and we say it in many other ways. But at the end of the day, they've all become boring. Their comedy's boring. Their podcast's boring. Whatever they had that kept people listening, it's gone, and it's not working anymore.
Rolexes.
Yeah, I know you are.
The reason I take that back.
Do you see that? Tom was just like, he's even bored. He's even bored having to be there. Bert Kresicher, that's a rough one to take, though.
Watches. I have 2 other watches. A good friend gave me one of our good friends, and then I got one in Paris. I never wear them. But what's cool about them, and I'm this is a soft pitch to anyone who's not irate right now.
Yeah.
Is, man, Tudor is an amazing watch, and it's made by Rolex. It's in the family of Rolex. Tudor's a great watch.
Well, listen, I know,
and it's a great way to celebrate a benchmark in your life, and to make you smile.
people do it get into it for different reasons. Some of it for the art involved, because they are like pieces of art.
Yeah.
Some of it to, like you say, Mark.
I look at this watch and I think My Special Lucky is streaming right now on Netflix.
There you go.
And it was streamed in the top 10 for 2 weeks. And I treated myself when I went to Vegas, and I said, every time I look at this watch, I remember that 2 weeks. And like, it was just a great moment in my life. So I buy something to remind myself of that good feelings.
Fuck me dead. Where do I start? Rich fat comedian promotes Netflix comedy special by bragging about expensive watch collection while hooked up to a vitamin IV in his podcast studio.
We've heard you. We know the fans love Watch Talk, and we promise, we'll keep it up. We'll keep telling you things that we've acquired that that you can dream about.
Let's talk about Porsche.
Oh man, dude, these guys, it's yeah. I mean, man. There's so many things I'd like to say, because I could see some different angles here, but we're gonna not say it.
Can I tell you what?
I get myself in enough trouble with these videos, just not today, okay?
Is interesting?
Sure.
I'm not a car guy at all.
I know you're not.
I'm not. I was with Kyle Busch. He said, "What kind of car do you drive?" And I said, "Oh, it's a Mercedes." He goes, "What kind?" And I said, "The white one."
White one.
And he goes, "What?" I said, "I'm not a car guy." He goes, "You really don't follow cars?" And I said, "Not at all." And I'm being dead serious. After that Porsche podcast,
yeah,
I think Porsche is the sexiest. Just hearing them talk about a brand,
yeah,
and the longevity of the brand, and what struggles the brand has had. You told me last night. I think conversations like this are fascinating to me.
Well, for several years now, the Macan has been like the top seller, and the Cayenne, the SUVs, these do extremely well for the company, and basically,
the reason those do extremely well and sell, because Porsche has sold this idea of luxury. But if you look at a Macan is like the entryway into Porsche, is the way to say it. Porsche, if you ask them. Sorry. And Macan is the entry. I think like what, 40 to 60,000, something like that. So like a lot of people buy those entry level cars because it's still the same brand. It's just an entry level car. and you can claim to have a Porsche. You know, that's why they're best sellers. It's how the American dream, you know, just trying to keep in with the Joneses, you know, even though I have to say they are very nice cars, especially if you drive some of the nicer ones. Boy, you hit that gas pedal and your nuts, they hit you right in the eyeballs.
The cars that like people are, I would say, the most passionate about.
Yeah, see,
like
they're
the
more
GT
expensive
line for Porsche, like GT3s and everything.
Yeah.
That line, the GT division, is basically supported by the fact that they sell so many of these other.
See, the 911s, that's entry. You can get those things, and then I think they also I used to do some things in this space, and I think they had $1 million car, like the 918 or 17. I don't even remember what it was, but it was like $1 million car. It was crazy. I saw it in real life. It was pretty cool.
I think
they wouldn't be profitable if they were like, we just make GT3s. There wouldn't be a lot.
Yeah.
This is a really interesting pivot, because maybe this is a disconnect where people hear us talk about watches and they don't understand. It's not talking about the ones we actually have. It's always about the ones you want.
Yeah.
What's fun for me
is like the chase.
The chase. I hope you're connecting to this and understanding what I'm talking about. It's like the funnest part of buying a car is looking at cars.
Yeah.
Is the funnest part. And I do this. I eventize my life way too much. Like right now, the greatest part about today is Sunday for me, because it's the Masters just started today.
Okay.
And I can't wait to Sunday. I'm picking out my outfit. I'm wearing my Masters hat. I'm going to be watching it all day. I'm going to be drinking mint juleps. Any good you want. And whether it's watches, dude, never buy a watch, but look at them.
This is just lame. I'm sitting here just like, when are these guys going to stop talking? I mean, it's almost lame to sit here and make fun of it. I just have to say, everyone is just becoming very, very uninteresting. And I think that they've become so wealthy. They have no struggles. They're just flying high, which is fine. But when you interact with the other world, it's going to be really hard to relate, because you don't have any edge to you anymore. You've been polished. Your skin is really, really soft. There's no calluses and no roughness from hard work anymore. And yeah, you're boring. I mean, but hey, if I had some fucking $100 million, 200 like the old Joe or whatever, he's almost a billionaire. Call me boring all day. Shit.
So fun to look at. I look at watches I'll never buy.
What are we doing here, B? This is what it's come down to. If you can't buy expensive shit like us, just go window shopping. It's just as good, trust me. This has to be the most unrelatable podcast I've ever listened to.
Yeah.
All we need is for Joe Rogan to tell us that money isn't real, it's just fun coupons, and we'll hit the out-of-touch millionaire comedian trifecta. I don't know if you guys have heard the story, but years ago one time...
How are you going to say Joe's not gay? Bro, isn't that... How are you going to say that? People, come on now.
Brian Callen actually said to Rogan, all you've got to do is get to a point where you don't worry about paying when you're out for dinner. That's how you know you've made it. Everything else is just a bonus. See, Rogan has what you call fuck you money. You poors will never understand. Like Tom said, you've got to figure it out. Don't make his money your problem. I'm starting to get the hang of this, but let's put money to the side for now, because have you noticed that Bert has a fetish for black people? I've always suspected him of being, well, you know, but this next clip just confirmed it for me. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Okay, hold on. You got to find the gay black couple. I don't know what their names are. The gay black couple that make food for each other.
Yeah.
The one's like a queen, he's got long nails, and the other's like power bottom, like he's a fucking man. And he's like, hey, and he claps his nails like this, and he's like, that's him. You found him right first shot. Go, yeah. That's it. Tom, this guy's awesome. He's big about his pickles.
Yeah. You watch this a lot?
I watch this a lot. I think he slams this dude night and day.
Just all the weight off of him?
Dude, this couple confuses me so much. This mac and cheese always looks good. Bro, I kind of want to watch them.
You can.
I bet I can. I bet they have see if they have an OnlyFans. If they have an OnlyFans, we're going to it right now. Can I tell you what I love about black men? Not these black
They have
men.
8.7 million followers on TikTok.
Please have an OnlyFans.
No, fuck.
You know what just popped into my head? Remember
Bro, this is crazy, right? These peeps is crazy, right? What are we doing here, folks? This is just wild. Why? Here's the thing. I am starting to believe that you can get away with just about everything. It doesn't matter what the fuck you do. There's always some loophole, some little workaround. These guys, there's still going to be people buying tickets to go to their arena shows. Lord, we can't save the humans.
that time when Rogan said he wishes he could feel what it's like to be a woman and take a big schlong inside him? I'm pretty sure it was Rogan that said that. What is it with these guys and their weird-ass fantasies, and why are they so open with them? They're way too comfortable with their sexuality, and not in a good way. Actually, now that I think about it, in last week's episode, or maybe the week before, I can't remember, Bert kept telling the producers to bring up famous guys with big dongs. There's some strange energy going on in that room. I honestly wouldn't be surprised one day if one of the top 250 comedy assassins blew the whistle on the mothership green room and exposed all the fucked up shenanigans that go on in there. There's no way Rogan, Tony Hinchcliffe, Bert Kreischer, and Ron White are sitting in there smoking cigars and telling dick jokes. There has got to be more to it than just that. In fact, later on in this episode, Tom and Bert offered their producers $1 million to taste their jizz. Even after they all said no, Bert just kept pushing it and pushing it. Seriously, this episode was so fucking weird. And as usual, it eventually turned into a Bert therapy session. After all, Bert just wants to talk about Bert. As long as you're talking about Bert, then Bert's happy.
You know, Instagram's kind of like the zoo a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm just sneaking into their lives and watching it and going like, that's so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, dude, those videos of those people eating shit, like, dude, humans are weird, man. There's 8 million people that are down. Like, people are crazy. It's just that society tries to present that we're not. But no, that's on some another level shit. I ain't trying to watch that. You know? Like, oh man. Oh, fuck it.
And then I go back to my life and I'm like, oof, that was a close call. It's funny. I get in this thing. I have a real problem with Instagram, you know, because I disappear in it. Like, but it's not like I've blocked everything comedy. I don't want anything comedy. I said to myself the other day, I saw a picture of me and Leanne when Leanne was pregnant.
On Instagram?
Yeah, I'll text it to you guys. I want you to see it only because I want you to see how happy I am.
Yeah.
And I realized why I was so happy.
That you were having a baby?
Well, no.
Oh.
No, she's pregnant. She doesn't look that great. I'm kidding. No, but I was happy, Tom.
Yeah.
Because I was present. I was making zero money. I had zero. Look at how happy I am.
Yeah.
I had zero. I was still fat, but I still was as bald as I am today. And I was so present. And I said to myself, what am I doing on my phone? What am I doing on my phone? I'm wasting my life. I'm scrolling. Just scrolling, look at other people live. And then I realized how much of my life is performative. And I started looking at Instagram going like, how much of people's lives are performative?
Is there anything you would do without posting it?
No.
Nothing.
I'm getting an IV on camera right now.
Well, we both are. But
I know.
I've gotten 100 IVs, and they're not, this is the first
every time I post it.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know why I post half the shit I post. And then what's crazy is when you have a great moment and you're like,
hey, this is the best part. I have been thoroughly bored by the dialogue between these two. I did enjoy the junkie part of Joe Rogan. But here's the thing. Look, I'm saying it, Bert, any kind of leeway I've given this guy, any kind of room to progress, whatever I've tried to give to Bert, it's just not possible. So now I just say, hey, Bert, he's obsessed with fame. He's willing to sell out. I say you milk this cow. You poke, you prod, you do whatever you can to get all the drama out of this guy because he's willing. He just needs to be encouraged. So for our viewing pleasure, Tom Segura, please milk the cow. Milk it real good like you do in the comedy green room.
Like, this would be fucking epic to post. And your kids are like, nah. And you're like, what the
Really?
Do you know what they said to me one time? Dodgers hit me up and like, yo, you want to come? I was like, yeah. And they're like, how many? I said, 4. And they go, great. I said, girls, you want to go to opening day? And they're like, yes, that would be great. We get in the car and George and Isla go, hey, no phones. I said, what? She goes, no Instagram today. Let's just have like a day as a family. And I was like, what's the point? I don't know. It's an addiction to, I don't know. There's something. It's
The
like,
feedback you like.
you know what it is? It's like everyone wants to be seen.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to feel valuable.
Yeah.
And feel, hey, look at me. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm just like everyone else.
Yeah.
Maybe a little.
I have to say, I kind of look at it differently. I really enjoy coming up here, being like a little over the top, having fun, talking about shit. I like making fun of stuff. But the whole being seen thing, just for doing it, I don't know, man. Because, you know, for me, time is short. I want to make these videos, so I just force myself to make them every day. And I have a small amount of time, small window, I make them. And that's it. Put them out in the universe, move on. But the addiction, man, look, as much people as you get nice to you, you get all the same amount of people shitting on you. And to just sit there and read that constantly, who would do that?
Hyper version of that. But that's the thing. It's like,
But like, if you didn't post it, it's like almost it didn't happen for you.
Yeah, Bert, you're just like everybody else. I said in my review of his comedy special on my Patreon that Bert's basically the male Amy Schumer of comedy. But now I'm convinced that he sounds like a 19-year-old Instagram model trapped in an overweight middle-aged man's body.
It's true.
Mind you, he has 2 daughters in college. Imagine your bloated, fame-obsessed father didn't want to take you to a baseball game unless he could post pics on Instagram. And when you said no phones allowed, he couldn't understand what the point of going was, so he sneaks his phone in anyway to take selfies and post them on Instagram. That's got to fuck you up as a teenage girl. Actually, do you guys remember that movie Amy Schumer did a while ago where she plays that character that doesn't realize that she's fat and ugly because she sees herself as really pretty like a supermodel, and everyone around her is attracted to her confidence or some shit like that? Honestly, I've never seen it myself. My friend told me about it the other day. I think it's called I Feel Pretty or something like that, and it was directed by Abby Cohn and Mark Silverstein, starring Amy Schumer in the lead role and Michelle Williams, Rory Scovel, and Emily Ratajkowski in supporting roles. Anyway, that's what Bert's like. He really is the male version of Amy Schumer, only fatter, redder, and not as funny. Honestly, I've never seen the movie, just to be clear. Whatever, you guys. Just
All right. Let's just ask the question. If a role was reversed, are you going to...
remember though, if you want to see my detailed breakdowns of all the Netflix comedy specials and all the big Kill Tony shows, don't forget to head over to my Patreon via the link in the description. There's a bunch of other stuff on there that you might be interested in as well, so go and check that out. Otherwise, make sure you subscribe to my channel right here on YouTube and hit the like button while you're here. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.
There it is. Great video for what the podcast cringe did. Like, man, these guys are dry toast now. This is awful. I finally understand it. I really do. It's quite crazy. But listen. I enjoyed spending some time with you today. Thank you. And I just want to let you know, I'm going to be venturing off onto some new people. There's a lot of people to make fun of and a short amount of time to do it. So I'll start sprinkling in some new people outside the Rogan sphere and keeping my eyes on these Roganites. Thank you. Good night.